Well, hey guys, thanks for joining me today. I wanted to show you the Essentrics TV streaming app, which I've been using for over 3 years now. I'd say about 4 years at this point. It is my favorite app for exercise by far. So spoiler alert, this is going to be a favorable review. But I wanted to show you guys what it looked like because I think a lot of people don't even know this exists. And it's such a worthwhile service to have. Now, if you have a lot of Essentrics DVDs or you follow the PBS program and that's all you need, you know, that may be all you want to have, and that's great. But they have live classes, as you can see. They have a whole bunch of content here. I find this to be a worthwhile service. And for some reason, it's doing this thing where when I touch the remote after I open the app, it did that spinning thing there. You may have seen that. No big deal. It kind of throws me off when that happens. So at the top here, we have I call it kind of like the featured news section. It goes into the challenges that come up, which are usually a mix of both live and pre-recorded workouts. Different themes, different time frames. It could be a challenge that lasts 5 days, like the stress release program, or it could be a program that lasts a month. They had conditioning for hikers. They did a strengthening and toning. All sorts of different themes pop up from time to time. So if they're doing something like that, they'll usually pop it up here, or they'll pop up a previous one and just to feature it. This is one that was, I believe, a few weeks ago, maybe early January, around there, maybe March. So there's a lot of sections here. Keep that in mind. I will try to keep this relatively quick, but again, there's a lot of content that you get with this app. Some of these sections I use, and some of them I don't, and I'll let you know how I use the app. And if you're interested in using the app, just as FYI, this is not paid. I'm not an employee or anything of the sort. They do have a 2-week free trial that you can sign up through their website. You do need a credit card. However, it is very, very easy to cancel. When I first signed up, I was a little hesitant because I've tried other streaming services where once you get past that paywall, it can be very confusing or difficult to cancel. And luckily, I never needed to cancel this, but it's very easy to do just by going into the settings and clicking it. You don't need to call them or go through any confusing steps, nothing of the sort. So I do recommend it. You can do these workouts on a web browser, but I prefer the app because it's just easier to navigate. You can use it on Apple devices, Roku, Android devices, even Fire TV is supported. So we go in here, you could see, I'll try not to point out what's so obvious on the screen, because you'll be like, yeah, we can see that. Live classes are all here. I do like how they make it very clear, the duration and the level. And when you click on it, you can see what components it will include. So, for example, this one here is standing and floor, so you really only need a mat. If it said standing, floor, and bar, you would need a mat and a chair. In terms of equipment, very, very little equipment is needed. You just need a chair for the bar exercises, something that's steady, not a rolling office chair, and a mat. A mat is ideal as long as it's not too thick. Some people can do this on their floor. It just depends on how well your bare feet are on your floor in particular. If they're very steady, it's not slippery, that may be fine. But you don't need weights, nothing of the sort. And one thing I wanted to point out, let me go back here. I'm just kind of messing around as I talk. If you see one that says, here we go, off air, that just means it's coming up. And it will say that When the workout has concluded, it can take them maybe an hour or two in order to upload, and then anyone can watch it after it's been uploaded if you happen to miss the live schedule. And the length of, or rather the amount of time these live workouts are on the streaming service can vary. It can be anywhere from a few days to a few months to permanent. It ultimately depends on the popularity of the workout. If they get a lot of requests, if it's just something that they feel is worthy to keep up, they will do so. But keep in mind, there are a lot of new workouts that are coming up constantly, so they will rotate them out. In the Getting Started Tutorials and Workshops section, very obvious here, we have 3 sections that involve slow workouts at different levels. Regardless as to what your physical ability is, your fitness level, I would start out with beginner just to get a feel for these workouts. Even if you are an experienced athlete, you may be a lot tighter in some areas and you may have some imbalances to work with. In that case, you have to worry about alignment. It doesn't hurt. You can quickly move up through levels if needed. And here's my one little gripe with the app that I have. I may have a few more gripes, but this is my biggest gripe. Despite the fact that I love it, obviously nothing is perfect. And the one downfall I can see with the app is it can be very hard to navigate and get familiar with. This workshop and tutorial section, a lot of people don't even know this is here. And there's a lot of great, valuable information that if you are new to Essentrics, or even if you're not, you want to go through this just to make sure you're doing it correctly. There's so much information here, I guarantee you that you will learn something somewhere. These live workshops here, a lot of us on the Facebook classical stretch page were raving about this to please keep these up, because even people who have done Essentrics for years and years, even up to the early 2000s, so we're looking at over 20 years of Essentrics, they were learning new things from this that helped improve their technique. So I highly recommend it. And the live workshops are a mix of tutorial versus a live class. So you can do exactly what they're talking about. Very, very good. I've done these a lot in the past. And the earlier people do these workouts, the easier you can establish good habits. Because you don't want to learn something incorrectly and keep doing that forever. We also have a lot in here that are much shorter. For example, I think there's one in here that's only like 20 or 30 seconds. Just run right through them. I don't know if there's a way to autoplay these as a chain. I don't think there is. I've never been able to do that, but if you know of a way, definitely let me know. So, sorry, I'm having a little bit of problems navigating because I'm using my Apple TV remote. And this is more of a problem with the Apple TV remote than anything else, because I'm using my phone to record my voice. I'm just going through here so you guys can see some of these titles and thumbnails. Play one real quick. I'm not authorized to show this content on YouTube, meaning I don't want to get any copyright strikes.
How to place your feet correctly. So what we want to do is just tap the floor with the ball of your foot.
So unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to play it for very long, maybe for a few seconds here. So this is a move I really like, Caribbean Spine. I don't really
So
see
the
this move
purpose of the
often
Caribbean spine
anymore.
exercise is
I
to
don't know if
improve
they
your
phased it
posture.
out or they
It's-
just don't do it too often.
Pulling
They do it a
on
lot on the
each
core
tiny
workout
little
DVD.
vertebra,
That's about
and there
55
are
minutes
small
that I
ligaments
bought
between
used
each
because
vertebra,
for
and
some
they
reason
need
you
to
can't
be
buy this
opened up.
DVD
And
in
then
the
there's your
US. You can only
tiny
buy it
little muscles.
in the
So just
Canada
a
store.
small movement of each of the 33.
But let's see. She actually shows the
So you have to
move.
work all.
So you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's
So you want to keep that straight plumb line, and what you're doing is you're pushing the.
it's in here somewhere.
As people age,
Maybe.
they get stiffer and stiffer.
Let's see the move, Miranda.
So the spine
move.
starts to atrophy, and then you get arthritis of the lower. Your tailbone under, and even if there's no visual, the initial duck
There we go.
positions in
I will
and
sometimes
out,
see
but the
a
alignment always stays
less
hips,
exaggerated version of it.
shoulders and ankles.
But
Okay,
I don't see the
enjoy
Caribbean spine as much
Do it
anymore.
as much as you can if you have.
Don't know why.
posture.
But I do recommend this section. Again, a lot of people don't even notice it until they've done workouts for a while, or they never even know it's here. But it's in the second section, the last, I guess, tab, last box, far right. So now we have health challenges, conditioning programs, and collections. Truth be told, I don't really use either of these two sections much, either the last one I just talked about or this one. I will sometimes go back and do one of the prior challenges. And then in here we also have the age challenges. So it goes from 20s to 70s plus. Plus, meaning if you're in your 80s, if you're in your hundreds, this workout section is for you. There is no age limit for Essentrics. And a lot of people mistake that to mean that it's easy or not beneficial. That is not the case. When I first started this program, I greatly underestimated how much it would do for me. The big difference between the 20s and, for example, the 60s and 70s is the 20s will have a bit more toning, but do not underestimate some of these workouts. This increase your range of motion is one of my favorites. This release and rebuild your fascia, a connective tissue workout. First of all the connective tissue workouts are my favorite by far. There's some really good ones here, and you will feel great and you will feel looser afterwards, and you'll feel stronger. You don't need weights to get stronger. It's another myth that we've kind of had beat into our heads. This section I use a lot. Notice how, and I didn't notice this right away, so if you didn't, that's okay. You see how her arm is at the 15-minute mark, 30, 45, 60. I just thought that was so cute. One day I just noticed it. That was clever. I use this one a lot for the 15-minute one. I'll use it for the other ones as well, depending on how much time I have to work out with. But I also like to use these as add-ons. For example, this express neck release workout with Amanda, very good. When I needed a new pillow, when I realized that my pillow was no longer supporting my neck properly and I had to replace it and it got lost in the mail, I was adding this workout on to my other workouts until my neck got better, and it really did help. If I find that maybe a workout did not work my arms enough, because it varies per day, you get everything, but some days you may be tighter in certain areas than others, I'll go in here and do one of the arm workouts. The one with Sasha is really good, and there's also one with Meg that is really good. It's a mix of floor, bar, standing, And even though this is cycling release, I like to use this one because I get a lot of lower pain in my legs, or lower pain, or lower leg pain is what I mean to say. And this works the calves and ankles really well, and the hamstrings, and the quads. There's so many good ones in here. And there have been days where I will just do a 15-minute workout after a 15-minute workout. I'll do this psoa one, so good, and then maybe I'll add it with the neck one, and then I'll add it with the waist and toning. I just try to make sure that I get everything and I don't do the same type of workout over and over. You want to keep the body guessing. And you want to make sure it stays balanced. And you can only do that by working everything. The fingers and hands workout is amazing. You do this one a few times, you'll learn the moves. And then you can do this whether you're watching TV or anytime, maybe you're in the kitchen. It's really invaluable to learn some of these moves. We often get arthritis in our hands and fingers because we don't take care of them, and there's a lot of connective tissue in both our hands and in our feet. It's very important that we do maintenance, and if we start to feel those aches, we can just get in here and work it out. Such a good section. Love it, love it. Now, granted, there aren't too many 60-minute workouts in here, but they're very good. I particularly love the ones with Sara. They're so good. You will work. If you think Essentrics is easy, do those workouts. Even when you stay in a relaxed state, when you're done, you feel not necessarily tired, but your muscles will feel thoroughly worked. You might feel tired. I remember the first couple of times I did those workouts in the very beginning of Essentrics, and they kicked my butt. I had to keep stopping and shaking it out because my muscles would get so fatigued, I would start to lose form. And when that happens, that's a no-no. You don't lose form. That's what makes people sore. And this is another section I use a lot. Once I became more familiar with the workout system, I realized this was a section for me. It fits whatever mood I'm in or what I need. As you can see, energy boost, cardio. The ones I use the most, and this is what I highly recommend for anyone starting out, if you aren't really feeling up to challenging yourself, well, guess what? You can still challenge yourself without feeling like you are. And you can do that in this stress relief and relaxation area, and in restore and healing. These two I used a lot in the beginning, and it was to help me relieve the tension. Before I knew it, I was getting fitter and fitter. I was getting stronger. I was a little confused as to what was going on because I couldn't believe how powerful these gentle workouts were. So if you struggle with exercise and it's very difficult for you to be in discomfort with a lot of other workout systems, go into these sections. You will be hooked. You will feel so good. And they are so healthy. So healthy. I couldn't believe how much energy I was getting. And it wasn't just the energy from doing the workouts and gaining muscle. It was the energy I was saving by getting rid of the tension in my body. When you are very tight, it's a constant struggle. You're constantly fighting with every little move you make throughout the day. It's like trying to walk through thick water. It seems very easy and doable, but once you start to do it, you tire out quickly. Well, that's what was happening to me before Essentrics. I was sitting in a chair all day, so tired. I would come home, I would tell myself I would work out, and I wouldn't. I would be too tired. Once I started to do Essentrics, I could sit on a desk all day, come home, boom, loaded, just full of energy. So I didn't feel like I was tied to the office. I could have a life outside work and do other things. And it was because I was saving so much energy by not fighting with my body for every little move. If perhaps maybe you haven't worked out in a long time, or if you've been working out so hard, you're tight everywhere, these two right here, I recommend these two sections more than any other in here. Well, with that said, I think I've gone on long enough on that. Then we have Classical Stretch by Essentrics. This is a section, as you can see, obviously dedicated to the Classical Stretch PBS series. They have seasons 6 through 14. The ones before season 6 are too old, basically. Someone from Essentrics said that it just did not meet the quality of standards. So they do not have those on here, which is understandable. Season 6, though, even though it's an older season, still looks really good. So let me show you guys real quick. Again, please don't copy and strike me. Please.
I'm Miranda Esmonde-White. Thank you.
So they had to reformat it. It's obviously not in HD.
We're going to do a workout
this is at a time when you never saw things in HD.
Which will strengthen and slenderize your legs. So let's get started. Now, we're going to start with a warm-up, and you think I don't need...
But it's doable. So that's the oldest season they have on here. And each season, most of the seasons have roughly 40-something episodes, but season 14 and 13, 14 is the most recent, they have about half that. So I showed a little bit of 6, let's show a little bit of 9. And each season has a different theme. And it's really interesting to see the evolution of Essentrics from the earlier seasons to current seasons. Many people have been doing these year after year with Miranda. I didn't discover Essentrics until 2019, at the end of 2019, right before the pandemic hit. But as you can see, they look good. They look good. It's nice to have all of these here. I would prefer to have these over the DVDs because I hate fiddling with DVDs. Just having to put in the disc and put it back. I just have it all right here. I love it. This section I used a lot when I was beginning because I avoided the advanced workouts when I first started. I didn't have the strength to properly hold my body, as I soon discovered after starting Essentrics. It's like, no wonder I was so tired all day, every day, getting up from a chair and getting in and out of the car. I didn't have the strength to even support my own body weight properly. And I was injured to make things worse. And I didn't know the moves. So I just avoided the intermediate and advanced and stuck to the beginner workouts until I became more advanced. Now I'm one of those people who are always going after the advanced workouts, either connective tissue or sometimes the spine workouts. Spine workouts are also one of my favorites. But I like the advanced ones because once you know the moves, you don't need as much instruction. Granted, there's a lot of instruction for all the levels. And this is because it is all about alignment and it's easy for us to fall out of alignment. Think of it as a gentle reminder. Yeah, this full body toning, energizing workout, it'll make you work. but you're not working yourself in a way that's going to cause you pain, because this is all eccentric, which is the opposite of concentric exercise. You just feel lighter and longer when you're done. So good. This is another section I don't really use. I feel like they can kind of cut it out. It's just a little redundant. They already have it in the other section that we've gone over. Granted, these are good workouts. I still would take these age challenges a little bit with a grain of salt, because age does not necessarily coordinate with lifestyle. They say you can do the age that you feel that you personally are at. So if you feel like you're in your 30s, regardless as to what your age, I've done them all. A lot of these workouts, except for the lives in here, not all of them, but a lot of them are workouts in other areas of Essentrics, whether they're Essentrics TV exclusives. This one was made for the age challenges. But for example, the toning and sculpting, that's from another area. This is one of the live workouts. This is from season 14. That's an exclusive. As you can see, it says exclusive on there. Not all of the exclusives have instructors other than Miranda. Miranda is in a few of them, but they do include mostly other master instructors. Some good workouts in here. So as you could tell, even though that there's literally hundreds of workouts, there's over 400 workouts on the app right now. It's a lot to go through. You'll find some workouts to be shared in different areas. So it just depends on how you like to navigate it and how you like to use it. Area focus, another section I love so much. Very straightforward. It will pull all the workouts together that are related. Now, keep in mind that a core workout is going to involve more than the core. It's going to briefly include all body, and it's also going to include any muscles or connective tissue that are connected to your core. So your arms, for example, your shoulders. When you pull on those will pull on your spine. Those will pull on your core. Just kind of exploring through, letting you guys see some of this here. And here they pull together both the newest workouts and the exclusives. This is another section I recommend to beginners quite a bit. There was a QVC package that was sold with some eccentric stuff in it, and they included the workout plan that came with those DVDs on the streaming service. Keep in mind that, for example, these first three, first three, different thumbnail, these are the same workout. As you can see, that it's consisting of 9 full body workouts, and these are rotated. This is actually a very good thing when you're starting out, because you have to get used to it. It is very common to start Essentrics and think, oh, this is going to be so easy. As soon as you start having all these little questions you didn't consider about your knee and your feet and all this stuff and your hips. You start kind of second guessing yourself. But just listen to what they say. Trust the process. They will guide you through it. This right here is my favorite workout of all time. And it's also on YouTube. So I hope you check it out. If there is one workout I recommend for everybody, it's this one. Do this workout for 2 weeks. Guarantee you, you will feel like a different person. And then by instructor, I will go through so you guys can see all the instructors they have on here. As you can imagine, they'll have different types of personalities and styles. It's nice to have some variety. And then they're organized by DVD. Most of these workouts are still available on their website. Some of them are now out of print. I think this is one of them. I could be wrong. It may still be, they may still have a few in their last chance section. But they'll always be on here. So I'm not worried. But there are a lot more Essentrics DVDs than I think people realize. It's more than just the classical stretch, which those are always 23 minutes. These all have different time frames. It's good stuff. And then videos in French. This is an exclusive one they did in French Canadian. And these are dubbed. 3 that are dubbed. Going back up to the top, if you are an Apple user, your menu will be on the very top. If you are Roku users, this same menu will be on the left-hand side of the screen. Works the same way on each though. You have a library section, so any workout that I've started and did not complete is in here. That's another little gripe I have with the app. I would prefer just to have a straight up history of every workout I've done, whether it's the last 10 or 20. That way, maybe I did a workout that I completed a few days ago and I can't quite remember the title. I could go back here and look. In the beginning, I kind of struggled with remembering workouts and where they were and what they were from. Now I've done the system long enough that it's easy for me to remember this information. But I think it would be useful if they just made this straight up history versus just ones that I've started. For example, if I've clicked one on accident and it wasn't the workout I wanted and I immediately exit out, it sometimes shows up here, it sometimes doesn't. I think you have to play it for a few more seconds. But don't really use it anymore. If I need to pause it to answer the door, I'll do that. This will only be needed if you exit the app. The My List section is great for beginners. I use it a lot back then to save the workouts that I thought were the most beneficial to me, that I really enjoyed. Now I mostly use it to hold the shorter workouts I use as add-ons. And this isn't even a list of all the ones I use for I usually just go to the 15-minute section. Because once you add it, you had to come back in later, or on the main screen when you click on it. Here you see My List. So anytime you get ready to play one, you can just do that. Eventually, I just kind of stopped doing it. But I have these in here just in case. This feature is a little bit more worth it to me. And that's pretty much it for this very long review. Let's see, is there anything else I should mention before we go? Some of the, I really can't think of anything. If you have any questions, let me know. I will do my best to answer them. Of course, you can always try the 2-week trial yourself. If you are an Apple user, I would sign up for it through a web browser. Do not put in your payment information through the Apple Store, because Apple has a surcharge. They will charge you approximately 20 or 30% more. Go to the website, sign up for it there, put in your credit card there, then you can use those credentials to sign into your Apple device. That's what I do because I have an iPhone, I have an iPad, and I have Apple TV. I do not pay through Apple because if I did, I'd be paying about roughly $19 a month versus $15 a month. No, just sign up through the website. I say that because a lot of people didn't notice or even know that there was a difference in price. So fair warning on that. And that's what we got. Thanks so much for joining me today. I hope you check it out. If you follow Essentrics yourself, let me know what you think of this. And hopefully I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.